Look at his record. Look at rising take-home pay, a secure southern border, the fact that inflation was low, and ask yourself, does the media lie to you about Donald Trump because they care about you, or do they lie about Donald Trump because they're terrified that he's a bigger threat to their power than anything that's happened in this country's politics in a very long time? I truly believe, and I've gotten to know the man, of course, very well personally, so it's a little bit easier for me to say it, but I really believe that he wakes up wanting to make the country more prosperous and wanting to make the world a more peaceful place. That's who you want as President of the United States, is somebody who sacrifices to lead the country, not somebody who's enriched by their leadership of this country. And Donald Trump, I think, has sacrificed more for the United States of America than any president, at least in my lifetime. It speaks very highly of him, but more importantly, it says what kind of a president he is going to be if the American people entrust him with the presidency. And I'd encourage him to do it. It's okay to change your mind. It's okay to say you were wrong about him in 2016 or 2020. I did it. I changed my mind, and I'd encourage Americans to do that because he's actually got a plan to make this country better off.
Good morning, 511 family. Good morning, Patriots. Unless you're on the East Coast, in which case, good afternoon. Yeah, we're going live a little bit later than usual today, but you know that's the joys of having a live show. Sometimes things don't go always as planned, but great message from a great soon-to-be Vice President of USA, J.D. Vance, and in many people's opinion, hopefully soon to be in another 4 years, our future president, because a lot of people love J.D. Vance and the things that he stands for and the things that he says. If you've seen him live in person, or even if you just watched him on the air, you know that he's a great person. But I do want to say on today, Monday, October 14th. Yeah, and I got to look over on the side to make sure I got the date right. But happy Columbus Day to y'all. Interesting. We're going to talk today about how the leftists want to remove the Columbus statues. That's their most important issue. They're not concerned with the fentanyl. They're not concerned with the borders. They're not concerned with the economy. They're concerned with statues. You know, this is clearly, as they have been for a very long time, an attack on our history and values. And they're not just tearing down the statues. They're trying to erase our past. And a country and a person, and Darius, we got a lot of echo in this, but if we cannot remember our past, we're doomed to repeat it. As many of your history teachers said, I don't know if they're still saying it when we're all growing up now. They might have a different agenda they're teaching our kids. We don't know, but we're also going to talk about another third assassination attempt this weekend, and that's over such a short period of time. What are they so afraid of? We're going to talk about that today, but the media is barely covering it. The media is barely covering what's going on, and yeah, they mentioned it, but they're going out of their way to talk about how terrible America is and how terrible the white man is and how terrible the Christians are, but they're diminishing the fact that Trump has had 3 attempts on his life in the past, 3-4 months, something like that, since July. We're going to talk about Border Patrol's endorsement of Donald Trump for 2024, a clear sign of who's actually protecting the country. And Kamala, you know, she made her PR stop, her photo op visit to the border, as if she actually did anything to protect our border. We all know better than that. Under Trump, the border was secure. The Border Patrol, the Border Protection, ICE, they know who has their back. They know who's doing the work. They know who's doing their job. But, you know, guys, we're facing an election coming up here very, very soon. And we know we have evidence of Trump's track record and Kamala's track record. Kamala is a California liberal who did essentially nothing. Or what one of her highlights was performing the first LGBTQ marriage in California, if that's what you want to promote. But we don't trust the election process anymore. Many people. Many people don't trust the voting machines. Many people don't trust our state agencies, our federal agencies to properly protect us, to properly protect the vote, to properly enforce the law. And you have vice presidential candidates like touchdown. Yep. Hey, check. This is terrible. This is terrible. Okay, it looks like we're back. Maybe, yeah? No? All right, guys. Again, the joy of doing a live show. Anyway, we're talking about Touchdown Timmy, the manipulation, the lies, the gaslighting, and something else that has received almost no media coverage. Trump's felonies just got overturned. Not sure if y'all were aware of that one. But we're going to talk about all this. We're going to talk about the Hollywood elitists supporting Kamala and their claim that Hollywood isn't liberal. We all know better. But we do have a few patriots left down there, but not many. Not many. It's not liberal, though, according to Whoopi Goldberg. So we're going to talk about all this, but stay with us. We're not holding back. We're bringing you the truth live every day, just like we always do. The left wants to silence us, but we're here to fight, and we're not going to stop. We're gonna keep bringing you the truth every single day, regardless of tech issues. Yeah, that's the thing with live shows. Regardless of media manipulation, regardless of media lies, regardless of fighting the algorithm every day. But guys, we got a lot going on. And I'm trying to keep y'all in the loop on what's going on. So I want to thank all of you guys that are out there watching. If you're out there, we want to hear from you. We want to see you in the comments. We want to know how you guys feel about what's going on, and we're going to be responding to you. We're going to be answering your questions directly. So stay with us, and make sure you like, follow, and share our show, because this is the show that the leftists don't want you to see. What's up, Brock? Good to see you, brother. Nice to see you there on Instagram. And if y'all don't follow us on Instagram, make sure you go over there, check us out. If y'all don't follow us on What's Up, JJ, good to see you here, brother. Guys, we're in a fight for our country, but there's a lot of patriots out there. There's a lot going on that we're trying to bring to you every day. And I'm trying to keep you in the loop on what's going on. We put together some resources for you here at 511. In addition to letting you know what's going on, we're bringing you the election strategy playbook, which we're exposing all the lies of the left, let you know what they don't want you to know, let you know how you can make a difference in this upcoming election. But we also, when you go to sign up for this at weare511.com or 511media.co, either of the websites work fine. We're going to keep you in the loop on all of the events, because we have tons of events, and I'll be getting to the events that we have coming up here very, very soon. It's almost too much to cover in one show. It's almost too much to keep you guys up to date on. But if you go get the election strategy playbook, we'll make sure we keep you up to date in the emails. Also want to let you know and thank a few of our great sponsors. First one, longtime sponsor of 511 is Covenant Coffee. Thank you, Randy Martin, for all you do for the emancipated foster youth in Bakersfield, California, and Kern County. Covenant Coffee has fantastic coffee. By the way, I gotta say we drink Covenant Coffee almost exclusively. Sometimes we go to a local store, or because we're out of town or whatever. But other than that, we drink Covenant Coffee exclusively. Fantastic product. They got K-Cups. They have whole beans. They have grounds. All of your needs. And if you're local in Bakersfield, California, you can get a fantastic cup of Joe every morning, either across the street from us at Mohawk in California or across town on North Chester. Go check them out. You can check them out online as well, covenantcoffee.org. Christians, conservative, patriots, guys, go check out the people that are supporting the people that support us. Number 2, I want to bring to you guys Freedom 2.0. Freedom 2.0 is high quality hydration. They're supporting our First Amendment rights, Second Amendment rights. These guys do a phenomenal job in our community, but they also do have a phenomenal product. They go above and beyond this high quality, high caliber product, great packaging, and they always come with the fun sayings, like bottled with liberal tears or whatever their other bottles say. Go check them out online, freedom20.com. Use code 511 for 15% off. And guys, I'm going to bring up some events here in just a few minutes. But before we do, I want to talk to you about what's going on in the world today. So I want to start with, being it's Columbus Day, what's going on in cities around our country. While we're worried about paying our electrical bill, or we're worried about putting gas in our car, or we're worried about putting groceries on the table, the left is worried about statues. So, Darius, let's roll that video.
Of misguided priorities, New York City's mayor recently warned his city could be destroyed by the migrant crisis, and how the influx could cost the city a whopping $12 billion by 2025. But never mind that. Some local leaders think statues are the real problem. New York City Council members are laser focused on creating a reparations task force to, among other things, remove statues of people tied to slavery from city property.
This bill is part of an overall effort to really address historical injustices. It looks at the landscape of New York City, the public space we have. I don't see this as anything other than an act of moving forward in a positive way, a proactive approach towards addressing art in public spaces and trying to have a conversation about how do we move forward.
Statues of George Washington and Christopher Columbus could be on the chopping block. Jesse sent Johnny down to interview the council members about their proposal.
Did you want to remove the statues?
It depends.
Christopher Columbus.
It depends. I'm about truth telling.
He discovered America.
There are a lot of people that feel he did many harms, and statutes and monuments tend to honor people.
The Italians are going to be very upset.
I've heard that he wasn't even Italian.
You want to remove the statues?
Rename the Christopher Columbus statue
To what?
Amerigo Vespucci.
So you're just saying all white guys look the same?
No, I'm not saying that. Columbus was a bad guy.
Wow, now they're going to see Johnny coming, Jesse, and think, oh boy, here we go.
So the woman he interviewed said she didn't even know Columbus was Italian. How stupid are you? She's trying to destroy this guy because, why? Because he discovered America? Italians are going to be mad. He sailed under the Spanish crown, but he's Italian.
Yep.
She doesn't even know what she's talking about. So instead, they're going to put a plaque as like a peace offering, and it's $10,000 to say in small letters that Columbus was a bad guy. Do you think that's solving the problems, Dana?
I don't.
We have migrant crises, we have a crime wave, and they're going to tear down statues in this country. The Italians aren't going to put up with it, and the rest of red-blooded America is not going to put up with it. George Washington?
Right.
Thomas Jefferson? Are you kidding me? Do we even belong to the same country? She should be proud of George Washington and Thomas Jefferson. Without these two men, we wouldn't have a country. Then we wouldn't have any statues to tear down.
Do you know the other thing that happens at the Columbus statue? at Columbus Circle, there's the statue, and then there's the circle. Do you know what is all around there? Homeless.
Mm-hmm.
They care so much about the area.
You know, the amazing part of it, Dana, is that we didn't learn from what happened in California. So Gavin Newsom puts together this reparations committee to assess what they should do about the past injustices. And they come back and say, you should give everybody this amount of money, that amount of money, this amount of money. And then he comes out and he says it's much more than about a cash payment, because she doesn't want to give them the money. So now we're in the middle of a migrant crisis. We can't even afford it. The mayor's complaining about it. And what we want to do is assess, the New York City Council wants to assess what we should do for reparations. And by the way, that little plaque that's $10,000, why not just put a scarlet letter on it? I mean, because that's what it is. These are really bad people. Why don't people look at history, in terms of the time? What was going on at that time? Put things in context. Maybe they did do good things, all right? And going forward, does that mean these same people will be willing to say in 40 years, I was wrong in 2023 because I didn't look at it the right way as I'm looking at it in 2063?
Harold, when you think about all the problems that exist in government today, and you are triaging a situation where the mayor says we have to cut $25 billion in services to the city while the trash is not even picked up on the streets right now, is this the highest and best use of our time and taxpayer dollars?
No.
Good
I
answer.
listened to the councilwoman, and you think about the challenges we face in our public schools. You think about the migrant issues that we talk about. You think about the mental health issues that we talk about on this show. Many in our city are dealing with. You think about the crime. I understand where the councilwoman is coming from, but they're far bigger issues. Figure out how we make sure that we don't repeat some of the challenges or some of the problems we face today. And one thing that's going to help us repeat it, which is unfortunate, if we don't teach and educate our kids, we don't make our streets safe, and we don't find ways to protect our border. These history shows us if you can't do those things, as Jefferson once said, any nation that wants to be free and ignorant at the same time will be a nation that has never happened before in the history of the world. That's what we should be focused on, not removing statues and.
Harold, that was George Jefferson.
Well, he was moving.
Know your
He was moving on up. He was moving on up.
I love his statue.
Yeah. You know, this is so unfair, Dana. If you remove those statues from Columbus Circle, where will the CNN staffers urinate?
I don't know.
It's a good question. So where should the statues go? I think red states should declare themselves statue sanctuaries, right?
Yeah.
We send you the illegals, we'll take the statues. And there should be no cash bail for these statues. So once you pick them up, you better let them go. Pays to remind New York leaders that statues, by definition, are stationary. They can't move, which means they don't rape, they don't rob, they don't push women in front of subway trains. No statue ever did a smash and grab at a Walgreens or beat an elderly man unconscious. I'm sure, however, if you say that removing statues will do nothing to reduce crime, the left will say, no, you're wrong. The statues are emblematic of the oppression that led to this type of activity. Officer, I beat that Asian woman to a bloody pulp after seeing that statue of Columbus. I demand justice and reparations.
We'll see if you get them. Let's just
I don't
hope
mind the
that we
reparations.
focus.
Just a little bit.
All right, guys. So this is what's going on with the left. They got nothing. They got nothing left to stand on. They're in a full-on panic. What do we do? What do we do? They're focusing on tearing down statues when that essentially they have nothing left. Nobody cares about the policies that they're trying to push and promote. At the end of the day, we know what direction everything's going. I've been breaking down to you all of last week We'll continue to do it all of this week. The direction the election's headed, I think we're seeing the writing on the wall. They're seeing the writing on the wall, and they're running scared. They're trying to get in headlines wherever they can. Of course, this is going on in New York City, but this is how out of touch they are with the American people. They're focused. This is like some 2020 crap, right? This is some stuff that nobody cares about anymore. Was there some stuff that went on in our history that we don't agree with or that we're not proud of? Sure. But by and large, this is not the area that America wants their politicians to focus on. This is not the area that we need to focus on. We're in the middle of a crisis. We have natural disasters happening all across the country. Why is that being minimized in the news? And by the way, we have many reports of death counts being astronomically higher than what they're reporting on the news. They're reporting it's in the tens and hundred, small hundred, couple hundred, maybe something like that. And then meanwhile, we have people on the other side of the country on social media coming out and saying, well, no, it's in the thousands. Whatever they're telling you is not even is not even a partial truth. It's in the tens of thousands. But this is how out of touch our liberal politicians are with the American people. Meanwhile, we're sitting here trying to figure out how to pay our gas bill, pay our electrical bill, pay our grocery bill, and all of these things. And the man who is coming to try to essentially save this country from its demise, from the being pushed off the cliff, as the liberals are doing that, as it seems almost as if they want America to go off a cliff, right? I don't know about you guys, but that's how it feels to me. Like they want America to take a swan dive head first into the abyss. Almost as if they're trying to erase and eradicate it off the face of this earth. And I know I'm getting a little bit off track, off subject, off script, whatever. But the man who is doing the most, in my opinion, and I know many of yours, to save our country from that demise is Donald Trump. And what are they doing? They're continuing time after time after time after time attempted assassinations. That's insane. Do any of you guys remember a time in history in your lifetime? And I know some of our viewers are older than me. I'm not super young. I know some of our team is younger than I am. Some of our team is older than I am. But do you guys remember a time in history where we've had 3 assassination attempts? One of them nearly succeeded. President was injured. Former president, soon to be future president, by those of us that are praying. Do any of you guys remember a time when there was multiple attempts? I remember there was a time where there was an attempt on Ronald Reagan's life, but not multiple. And they're minimizing this in the news. And so I want to bring this story to you because it's just happened over this past weekend. And we need to be, as conservative, Bible-believing Christians, we need to be out there shouting from the rooftops because the news isn't doing it. They're not going to do it for us. We have to be the ones using our voice, raising our voice, making it louder because they ain't going to do it for us. We need to be spreading this news. We need to be making it known what's going on. And if you all think these are just some random people, 2 of these people were found in a BlackRock commercial together. There's more going on behind the scenes, guys. Y'all know this. I know our audience is awake, paying attention, aware of what's going on. But not everybody is. So we need to be sharing this with those who aren't. Because y'all guys are the high propensity voters. But many of the people around us, many people we know are the low propensity voters. But they're still in agreement with us. And those are the votes we need that will make a difference in this upcoming election. But let's watch this clip from this past weekend regarding the assassination attempt on Donald Trump.
I'm here on LFA TV here. Look, we got some breaking news. We have a possible 3rd assassination attempt against our president, President Trump. This incident apparently happened at Coachella, where somebody was arrested outside the rally with an illegal shotgun, handgun, what they call high capacity magazine, and also fake VIP passes to the event, and expressed intent to kill President Donald J. Trump. They're not going to stop, folks. President Trump has already put a stop to his golf game because of the fact that they can't adequately protect him out there on the golf course. So he's even suspended golf until after the election. Now, I know for some people that's like, ooh, he had to quit his golf game. It's like, okay, but everybody in the world, even with a job, has that one thing that they do. You know what I mean? So, like, you know, take it easy on the guy. But a possible, again, third attempt, the man's name was V-A-M, Miller, illegal shotgun, handgun, what they call high-capacity magazine. We don't talk like that, but that's what they say. Fake VIP passes and express intent to kill President Donald J. Trump. Breaking news, LFA TV. Folks, this is Sunday. We'll be back in the studio tomorrow. Stay tuned for more update on that. Also, an update on, it's really windy out here. Sorry if the wind is loud. An update on early voting. We have 3.5 million early votes ballots in across the United States. And of that, 53% of those are Democrat, but over 20% are Republican. And you know how Republicans show up on day of voting compared to Democrats. So this is actually really good news. And as a matter of fact, the one state where more Republicans have early voted than any other state, and actually the one state where Republicans have a majority of the early votes in total, is Arizona. So, ladies and gentlemen, they're trying to kill President Trump. We're early voting. Let's see what happens. We got the pedal to the metal for the next few weeks, and let's go win this thing. Jeremy Harrell, LFA TV.
All right, guys. So I want to respond to a comment over here on Instagram. Wesley, I never said they're not reporting it. What I said was they're minimizing it. So and they are. I mean, it's just a clear fact. So anyway, guys, this is what's going on. They're attempting to assassinate a former and future president, and they're not making any bones about it. They're coming hard. They're coming hard, and but. Fortunately, even though it was in California, this event this past weekend in Coachella was in a conservative county, Riverside County, and we have a great sheriff down there, Sheriff Chad Bianco, and we're working on. He's good friends with another friend of ours, a friend of the show. Actually, we're going to be launching a podcast for him very, very soon. Mike Boudreau. We're working on getting Chad on the show here later this week. But here's what Chad had to say regarding this event.
So this is what I'm glad of. This is what I am very glad of. I know that the presence that we had at the rally with deputies, with snipers, with counter snipers, and Secret Service snipers and counter snipers. I am glad that we're not talking about this after we shot him. We get to talk about it before, and no matter what, it's all going to be speculation about what his intentions were getting there. What we do know is he showed up with multiple passports with different names, an unregistered vehicle with fake license plate, and loaded firearms. If you're asking me right now, I probably did have deputies that prevented the third assassination attempt. If we are that politically lost, that we have lost sight of common sense and reality and reason, that we can't say that, holy crap, what did he show up with all of that stuff for and loaded guns? And I'm going to be accused of being dramatic. We have a serious, serious problem in this country because this is common sense and reason. I saw some of you there yesterday. You didn't have guns and fake IDs. I don't know how else to explain it.
Here we go. Are we good? Are we hot? Are we live? Okay. All right, guys. So here we go. That's what Chad Bianco had to say about this. Thank you, Chad Bianco, for stopping, and Chad Bianco and your team for stopping a potential third assassination attempt. Again, guys, he had weapons. He had fake IDs. He had fake driver's license. He had fake license plates for his car, and all of this stuff. And again, we're gonna attempt to minimize that in the media, and we're gonna major on the minors and minor on the majors, and we're meanwhile bringing all of this information and saying, oh look, he was in the wrong place at the wrong time, kind of messing up. And if you watch what mainstream media is reporting, even on Fox, again, I'm telling you, Fox is not a friend of conservative movement, regardless of whether or not you still believe that. I know many of you guys don't. Many of you guys are aware of what's going on over there, but if you don't know, BlackRock is also a large percentage owner of Fox News, right? So that ought to tell you something. But let's show what Fox was reporting over the weekend about this as well, regarding what his alibi was, or what his explanation was of this situation. And frankly, for me, I'm not buying it. And if you read between the lines, I don't think our great sheriff is either.
Minutes before the bottom of the hour, to another Fox News alert. A 49-year-old man found and released after police say they caught him with loaded illegal guns and a fake press pass near Donald Trump's Saturday rally in Coachella, California. Meanwhile, the suspect maintaining his innocence, telling Fox News Digital, quote, "I always travel with my firearms in the back of my truck. I've literally never even shot a gun. I'm the last person that would cause any violence and harm to anybody. I'm 100% a Trump supporter. This is a man I deeply admire." Riverside County, California Sheriff Chad Bianco joins us now. Sheriff, do you believe him? Is that why he's out?
I mean, no, that's not why he is out. I certainly read his statements, and they're believable statements, but and I hope that was the case for his sake. But it doesn't change the fact that he brought the guns onto a Trump rally, and he was stopped before he got inside.
Right. Inside his car were rifles and guns unregistered, were passports with different names. He had a phony license plate, and inside the SUV, it was all torn up. He had a lot of explaining to do. What did you do when you began to unravel what he might have been up to?
Well, quite honestly, at the time with President Trump arriving, as you can imagine, it's not a calm scene. It's a very chaotic scene with people trying to get in there and vehicles coming in and the president on his way. So the original deputy that stopped him and talked to him and noticed all these things and eventually ended up getting his consent to search the vehicle, located all of these items. So had he not had that encounter with that deputy, he certainly would have been on the grounds. Where he would have more than likely ended up was probably only a few couple hundred yards from the stage where President Trump eventually was. But that's all. I mean, that's all speculation. We don't know because we did our job and we stopped him from getting on the grounds in the first place.
You indicated in some of your comments afterwards the federal government didn't get involved. Federal law enforcement did not get involved. Would you think you possibly stopped a third assassination attempt?
You know, in our minds, we did. That's what we were set up there for. We were set up to stop and prevent anyone from coming on the grounds like happened the last time. And it worked. You know, there's a lot of speculation that, you know, he's just an innocent person, and he very well could be with his intentions to not. He had no intention to harm the president. But out of the, you know, between the 25 and the 50, depending on the numbers that you're hearing, 1,000 people that came to the rally, only one brought guns. And so we were thankful that our deputy found him and he was removed before the president even got there.
So you think 50,000 people came there, you were able to secure it, you're very proud of that, and you should be. But when you get him in jail and you detain him, why is he out today? Because it seems there's a very little, just this, what we're talking about now, I would think if I was doing that, I'd be still in jail.
Well, in hindsight, I mean, it's probably for the rest of the country, it's hard to believe that when we arrest people, they don't stay in jail. But that's that's a fact of life here in California. And those crimes that we arrested him for were misdemeanors, and we do not hold misdemeanors in custody. So he was giving a citation to appear at a later date. And I've been told, I don't know the date, but I think it's after January. It's after the new year. So we've been dealing with bad law enforcement policy for decades in California, and unfortunately the whole world sees it now.
I mean, the frustration must be overwhelming because you're doing your job and you're not allowed to by the idiotic laws you're forced to live by. But let's look at this right now. Do we know anything about Vem Miller, his background? Does he have a history? He says he was a Hollywood guy who changed his beliefs because it was a homogenous community or something to that effect. What else do we know about him?
Well, for us, we know very little. And I think a lot of the problem that we are seeing now is the social media world is just taking on a life of its own. And of course, this is big news, but a lot of people fill in blanks where there are blanks, and most of the time they're wrong or they add things. One of the things that led to this controversy is he had a license plate on his vehicle that was unregistered, which is strange. And then the license plate was indicative of people that adhere to a sovereign citizen is what we refer to them as. I think they refer to themselves as that belief in that the government rules and laws don't apply to them. And he had a license plate on his car that was this indicative being used by those people. So by saying that, and here it's a little bit of a detriment to law enforcement, to me, when we try and be as open as we possibly can, that's misconstrued later on. And so I never said that he was part of that group. I said it's indicative of that group of people that believe like that. But at the time, we knew nothing about him. That's up to the FBI to find out his background and what he was involved in, if anything. And I'm sure that will come out later. But all we can go off of is what we see at the time and what we know. And what we know now is the only thing that we could arrest him for was those weapons violations.
Do we know that's his real name?
I couldn't tell you what his real name is. The only thing I can say for sure is this is a personal belief. The identifications, the different identifications that he had, Vem was consistent. So I'm sure his name is Vem, but there were different names and different variations of Miller or other names. And so I honestly, I couldn't tell you what his real name is.
See, I thought you could keep him for 48 hours. And being that there's so many questions about him, being how well armed he is, and the lies that he's happy, the different IDs he's happy to use, the different passports he had on him. I mean, this whole thing's reek of suspicion. Any one of these things seems overwhelmingly reason to keep him detained. But you say your hands are tied.
Well, yes, I don't want to say our hands are tied. I'm telling you that, unfortunately or fortunately for him, unfortunately for us, in California, that's all we can hold him for is the weapons charges, and it's a misdemeanor. And it is a sad fact that we can't hold misdemeanors in jail. They're released with citations. So I think he did go to jail. He was booked, but I believe he was only there for 4 to 6 hours and then cited and released. So the ultimate goal was to stop him from getting inside and then get him away from the event. So the event was safe. The attendees were safe. Our former president was safe. And then any follow-up that's going to happen concerning the passports, concerning his intent, that can be done later.
Yeah, he's safe because you did your job. That's it. Sheriff.
We hope so. I'm certainly proud of the deputies, what they did, and catching this and before he got those guns inside was good.
All right, Sheriff Bianco, thanks so much. Appreciate it. We'll look to see who Vem Miller really is. Thank you.
All right, guys. So in a border state like California, and again, thank you, Sheriff Bianco, for doing your job, and thank your team for doing their job, stopping a potential assassination attempt. Guy has a lousy excuse. Any of these things should be viewed as criminal. He's got fake license plates, fake driver's license, fake IDs, passports, everything else. And he spends 4 to 6 hours in jail in a state of essentially lawlessness, in a state where you can run into any department store, any store, anything that you want. And the minimum theft required to prosecute is $1,000. and we're seeing mobs of people come in and steal thousands of dollars collectively, it's no wonder why our Border Patrol is endorsing Donald Trump. And Kamala, sure, she made a photo op visit where she was incredibly rude to the people. If y'all remember, we talked about that on the show last week. She was rude to the people at the border and everything else. It's no wonder why the Border Patrol themselves are endorsing Donald Trump as their candidate. And let's watch this video of exactly this.
Message for you. If we allow Borders R. Harris to win this election, every city, every community in this great country is going to go to hell. The untold millions of people, unvetted, who she has allowed into this country that are committing murders, rapes, robberies, burglaries, and every other crime will continue to put our country in peril. Only one man can fix that. And that is Donald J. Trump. He has always stood with the men and women who protect this border, who put their lives on the line for the country. A man who knows about putting his life on the line for what is right. This November, we have a choice to make. Continue the chaos, allow the criminal cartels to control the border, to allow drugs and fentanyl across our country, or put an end to it once and for all. On behalf of the 16,000 men and women represented by the National Border Patrol Council, we strongly support and endorse Donald J. Trump for President of the United States.
Clearly a no-brainer. Everybody knew, or at least nobody is surprised that the Border Patrol has endorsed Donald Trump as their candidate. We know what Donald Trump stands for. We know the policies he stands for in protecting our border and bringing jobs back to America, getting rid of the people who are here illegally, performing criminal acts on citizens, murders, rapes, and so much more. Stealing jobs that should rightly go to Americans. It's clear why they endorse Trump, but the liberals are so out of touch with what's going on with the country, so out of touch with what's going on with the citizens. They're losing their own base, frankly, and you can tell they're losing their own base when you see. I believe it's NBC. When you see a company like NBC, ABC, CBS, they're all the same, essentially all the same. Saturday Night Live, poking fun at Kamala and Joe Biden in a rare moment that they're actually funny. And when I was younger, I used to watch Saturday Night Live all the time, and they had quite a few days that they were funny. They've turned that basically into a political propaganda show, and it's rarely ever funny. But it just so happened to be they happened to have a rare moment of actual humor on the show the other day, and you would think that they would have been using this material for the past 4 years, but you know they are so much into promoting the propaganda that they can't bring themselves to do that. But share with you this clip from Saturday Night Live just recently.
Man, that felt good. And Donald doesn't think I'm black. Listen up, everyone. We couldn't have gotten here without one man, and his name is Joe Biden.
Folks, that's right. A lot of people forget I'm president, including me. But guess what? And by the way, I think I did a pretty good job. I passed more bills than any president in history. But folks, we still got work to do, no joke. I'm being serious right now. Come on. And guess what? And by the way, the fact of the matter is, we got to pay fair share. We got to build back better. The build back the better, the better, the better. Build back the better. Can't believe it's not butter.
I want to say thank you, Joe Biden. Thank you for putting country first and for handing over the reins.
I didn't want to. They made me. And guess what? And by the way, the fact of the matter is, no joke. This is serious right now. This is serious. Anyway, in conclusion, me and Vice President Harris are the same.
Oh, okay. Great stuff. Thank you, Joe. Thank you so much. Thank you. All right. Goodbye, Joe. Listen, all right? We got to stay focused, okay? And let me tell you something. If we win together, we can end the drumala. And go relax in our pajamas. All right. You want in?
Yeah.
Come on in. Okay. Hey there. Is that nice?
Yeah, it's really good.
Okay. Hi there. Okay.
How did I get back here?
I don't know.
Thank you, Joe Biden. Can't believe it's not butter. Guys, this is how out of touch that they are, that they're losing their own party. And the fact remains that many Americans, definitely many on our side, but I think many in general, don't trust our institutions, don't trust the voting, don't trust the voting machines. And we have Yep, check. All right. Sorry, guys. We're gonna be changing some things very, very soon here because we're having some serious issues time and time again. We can't trust our software, but guys, there's a lot we can do about these election integrity issues. We have and I want to bring some things to your guys' attention. And I don't think we talked about earlier in the show what TP Action is doing. And guys, I want to talk about real quick Turning Point Action, what they're doing in Arizona, what they're doing in Wisconsin. We got just a few weeks left to essentially save our country. And go ahead and bring it up, Darius. And guys, you can do this whether you want to travel, and they're going to pay you full room and board and wages, everything else to travel, to go knock on doors, to help get out the vote. And hold on. This has got to be the last day. Hey guys, okay, sorry. Nonstop tech issues. So anyway, we still have time to save our country, to save our republic. You guys can help out with that, whether you're willing to travel, you make a little bit of money while you're doing it, or whether you just want to do it of your own home, regardless of where you're at. Go check out tpaction.com. There's lots of ways you can get involved. And again, if y'all remember, we put together the election strategy playbook, which also gives you a lot of things you can do to make a difference. But I also want to bring up a couple events that we have coming up very, very quickly. And again, I want to encourage you guys to go sign up for our email list. You can do that by going to weare511.com. weare511.com, and you'll have an opportunity to opt in there. But as we go through real quick, a few of the events coming up. The first one we have is just this week in Las Vegas, Nevada. It is the Clear Truth Conference, October 18th, 2024, over at Calvary Red Rocks over in Las Vegas. You can click on the link, or you can go scan the QR code and go sign up there. Second event we have coming up is next week, October 23rd. Is if you're a pastor or a faith leader, you can go to the Pastor Summit in Atlanta, Georgia. If you're in that part of the country, or you're willing to travel to that part of the country, you can go check it out. We have a third event coming up, which is, go ahead and bring it up, Darius. Third event coming up, which is the Blexit Night of Faith and all of 511. We're going to be at every single one of these events, by the way. There are so many events going on that we have a hard time keeping up and a hard time letting you guys know about it. But we're going to do our best to make sure you guys are aware of it. Blexit Night of Faith in Tampa, Florida, November 2nd from 5 to 7 p.m. Going to have a great night of worship and some awesome speakers. Just a couple days later, we're having a National Day of Prayer and Fasting at tpUSAfaith.com/pray. You can get over there, go check that out. We're going to be live streaming with Charlie and Pastor Rob and Lucas Miles and John Amanchukwu and many, many more. Guys, you don't want to miss as many of these events as you can, as many of our people that are praying out there as we can for our country. And this is not accidental that it's the day right before the election. We have one last event we want to encourage you, and this is going to be our big celebration, our big party for conservative victory, and that is AmFest, America Fest, December 19th through the 22nd in Phoenix, Arizona. Go ahead and play that video, Darius.
What you represent, your presence here, that the largest multi-day event in conservative grassroots history. Is a message that will be heard by these people. Phoenix, Arizona, people from all over the country. It's remarkable because it brings everybody together. My favorite of the year. Energy, the left doesn't want you to see it.
Okay. All right, guys. So love to see you there. We're gonna be live streaming from our booth at AmFest, December 19th through the 22nd in Phoenix, Arizona. Again, we want to see you guys there. But I want to bring up one last story for you guys, and this was something that kind of started surfacing over the weekend. And y'all remember creepy Tampon Tim, the goofy. What does he call himself? A knucklehead. Does this guy? Is it just me, or does this guy seem like a complete weirdo? We've watched this guy be a weirdo for a long time now. At least I have. Let me know if you guys agree with me. But now we're starting to see things that, in my opinion, are not surprising. Things that I could have almost predicted. People are coming out with allegations of sexual assault against Tampon Tim, and we're gonna start seeing more of this. It's gonna resurface. The liberal media is gonna try to keep it quiet, but we know better. Go ahead and play this video talking about the allegations on creepy touchdown Tampon Tim.
Tim Walz is absolutely finished. The Harris campaign is done. It's literally done. There's allegations that have come out about Tim Walz that people have talked about the last few days, but now we have a full-blown whistleblower that's coming out who's an exchange student that Tim Walz has threatened that he will deport him out of the country if he speaks out about him prior to the election. What's your thoughts on this? Watch.
Tell me about your first encounter with Coach Tim Walz.
He would tell me like your secrets, you can trust me, and I will tell you my secrets, we can trust each other again. And he would go with those like strange movements up to left, back to my back again, touching my butt. Or he made it very clear that nobody is going to believe me and I will be deported because of the wrong accusing of a teacher. I had a feeling for a long period of time that I cannot trust anyone because something bad can happen. I want them to know that they should talk about it and do something and never keep it inside.
And this is not the best. There's more to come. Wait for the news to drop tomorrow. Tell me your thoughts in the comments below. Is the Harris campaign completely disseminating in front of our eyes? Is their campaign completely imploding in real time? I think so. Let me know your thoughts below.
So I've been saying for really essentially since the beginning that Kamala has no chance of winning. I don't think that they even expect her to win. I think that whoever signed up to be her vice presidential running mate was committing career suicide. Now you take this allegation and it just makes you wonder, is there a reason? Is there a reason why he decided, hey, I'm gonna be the running mate? Did the left potentially know this information already before? Did they try to hold this over his head? I'm just asking the questions. I'm not making allegations. I'm just bringing you guys the information. No one's been convicted. Nothing's been proven. But is it that far-fetched? We see many people on the left being accused of this stuff. We see many people on the left being convicted of this stuff. We know that many are complicit with the child trafficking and the sex trafficking. We saw when we talked to Senator Shannon Grove, they tried to shut down the child sex trafficking bills in California. Wonder why. Just curious, just wondering. So now we have touchdown tampon Tim. His name's going to keep getting longer and longer and longer. Allegations coming of sexual assault with a minor. Is it a wonder why he chose to sign up for what many see as career suicide as a vice presidential nominee for the Democrat Party? I say nominee. It's an interesting word, right? Because he wasn't actually nominated. He was just selected by the DNC. And why was he selected? Why was Kamala selected, first of all? Many of you guys might have forgotten about this. They had all these millions of dollars that were supposed to go to Joe Biden. And when he essentially was forced out of the race by the news, by the liberal media, they all turned their back on him. Kamala, she was the only one that could have received the money. So that's why she's in that spot. I don't believe they ever thought she had a chance of winning. I believe that she was just a placeholder. But nobody wanted to run with her because they knew that it was career suicide. So now you see Tim Walz and you see the allegations come against him. We know that he's a creepy dude. We know that he's a weirdo. And he's tried to point fingers. See, they're weird. They're weird. It's not. The things that you're calling weird are normal, and the things that you're calling normal are weird. Dude, you're the weirdo. Anyway, we'll be back later this week with, hopefully, we're going to bring Chad Bianco, talk about the attempted assassination attempt. We're going to be bringing, tomorrow, we're going to have Reed Levin in with us in studio. We're going to have guests throughout the week, and we're going to have a lot of the election news, what's going on with the election, and all of those things. Thank you all for watching. Have a great day. God bless.